The year is 1812. Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor of the French, stood at the precipice of his most ambitious campaign yet, the invasion of Russia. His Grande Armée, a formidable force of over 600,000 men, was assembled, a testament to his military genius and the vast resources of his empire. The air crackled with anticipation, the strategic maneuvers meticulously planned, the supply lines stretched taut across the European continent. Yet, unbeknownst to the emperor, a small, seemingly insignificant missive was making its way through the labyrinthine corridors of power, a letter that would never reach its intended recipient, a letter that, had it been read, might have altered the course of history. This letter originated in the quiet, frost-kissed chancellery of Tsar Alexander I in St. Petersburg. The Tsar, a man caught between the pressures of his advisors and the looming threat from the West, was deeply troubled. His foreign minister, Count Nesselrode, a pragmatic and astute diplomat, had been diligently working to find a peaceful resolution, or at least a diplomatic deferral, to the escalating tensions. Nesselrode, privy to intelligence reports detailing Napoleon's relentless preparations and the sheer scale of his ambition, understood the peril his nation faced. He believed that a direct confrontation at this juncture would be disastrous for Russia, given the state of its military readiness and the vast distances it would have to defend. Nesselrode drafted a letter, a carefully worded plea for negotiation, a proposal for a temporary truce, a suggestion for a demilitarized zone along the border. He outlined potential concessions Russia could offer, not out of weakness, but as a strategic maneuver to buy time, to allow for further mobilization, and to exploit the coming winter as a defensive advantage. The letter was not a capitulation, but a calculated attempt to de-escalate the situation, to offer Napoleon an olive branch, albeit one adorned with the subtle thorns of Russian resilience. It was a testament to Nesselrode's belief in the power of diplomacy, even in the face of overwhelming military might. The letter was entrusted to a seasoned courier, a man named Dmitri, known for his discretion and his unwavering loyalty. Dmitri was given strict instructions. The letter was of the utmost importance to be delivered directly to the Tsar's appointed envoy in Warsaw, who would then expedite its journey to Napoleon's headquarters. The journey was fraught with peril. Dmitri navigated treacherous roads, evading French patrols and sympathizers who might have intercepted such a sensitive document. He rode through rain and mud, his horse a blur of motion against the darkening landscape, driven by the knowledge of the immense responsibility he carried. However, fate, as it often does, intervened in the most unexpected and mundane of ways. As Dmitri approached the city of Vilna, a key staging ground for Napoleon's army, a sudden and violent thunderstorm erupted. The heavens opened, unleashing a torrent of rain and a furious wind that tore through the already sodden countryside. Dmitri, seeking shelter, was forced to take refuge in a small, dilapidated inn on the outskirts of the city. The inn, frequented by soldiers and travelers alike, was a hive of activity, a temporary respite from the tempest outside. During the commotion, as Dmitri dismounted, exhausted and soaked, his saddlebag, containing the precious letter, was jostled. A small tear, already present from previous journeys, widened, and the folded parchment, sealed with the Tsar's distinctive crest, slipped unnoticed from its confines. It fell into a muddy puddle near the inn's entrance, a dark, sodden mass amidst the churned earth. Dmitri, focused on securing his horse and finding a warm hearth, failed to notice his loss. The letter, the product of weeks of diplomatic deliberation, the potential key to averting a catastrophic war, lay forgotten in the mud. The next morning, the storm had passed, leaving behind a landscape transformed by the deluge. The inn was bustling with activity as soldiers prepared to move out, their minds preoccupied with the impending invasion. A stable hand, tasked with clearing the debris around the inn, found the sodden parchment. Recognizing the imperial seal, he, with a mixture of curiosity and fear, presented it to a passing French officer. The officer, a man named Captain Dubois, recognized the Tsar's seal as well. Intrigued, he took the letter, assuming it was some form of official correspondence from the Russian side. Dubois, however, was not a diplomat. He was a soldier accustomed to action and direct communication. The letter, waterlogged and partially illegible, was a confusing jumble of diplomatic language and cautious proposals. He struggled to decipher its meaning, finding the tone conciliatory and the suggestions vague. He concluded, perhaps understandably, that it was a desperate last-ditch attempt by the Russians to appease Napoleon, a sign of their impending defeat. He saw no strategic value in it, no immediate military intelligence, nothing that warranted bothering the emperor with such a poorly presented and seemingly insignificant document. Dubois therefore made a decision that would echo through the annals of history. He deemed the letter unimportant, a mere curiosity. He instructed one of his subordinates to discard it, to throw it onto the pile of refuse destined for disposal. The subordinate, without question, complied. The letter, the product of a czar's desperate hope and a minister's careful diplomacy, was unceremoniously tossed aside, its potential to alter the fate of millions vanishing into the grime and detritus of a military camp. Meanwhile, Napoleon, oblivious to this near miss, continued his relentless march eastward. The Grande Armée advanced into Russia, its initial successes masking the growing logistical challenges and the fierce, albeit uncoordinated, resistance of the Russian forces. The Tsar, receiving no reply to his diplomatic overtures and increasingly pressured by his generals, felt he had no choice but to engage Napoleon directly. The invasion proceeded as Napoleon had envisioned, but without the crucial delay that Nesselrode's letter might have afforded Russia, and without Napoleon having the opportunity to consider a negotiated settlement, however unlikely. The subsequent invasion of Russia became a catastrophic ordeal for Napoleon. The vastness of the territory, the scorched earth tactics of the retreating Russians, the brutal winter, and the relentless guerrilla warfare decimated the Grande Armée. The retreat from Moscow was a harrowing testament to human endurance and suffering, a stark contrast to the triumphant march into Russia. Napoleon's empire, weakened by this disastrous campaign, began to crumble. The myth of his invincibility was shattered, and the subsequent years saw his power wane, culminating in his final defeat and exile. The letter, the one that Napoleon never read, lay buried, a forgotten artifact of a pivotal moment. It was a silent testament to the intricate and often capricious nature of historical events, where the fate of empires could hinge on the smallest of accidents, on a torn saddlebag, a sudden storm, or the judgment of a single ordinary soldier. Had Captain Dubois recognized the true significance of the letter, had he sought out a more discerning recipient, had Dmitri been more careful, the narrative of 1812, and indeed the subsequent decades of European history, might have unfolded along a vastly different path. The letter remained an unread whisper in the wind, a poignant reminder of the many unseen currents that shaped the grand tapestry of human affairs.